A lot to do and a lot to talk about on a Wealth Building Wednesday. Yeah, our days have names. What about it? It's a Wealth Building Wednesday. So, this is what we do on those days. Hour one, we look local, what's happening on the left coast side of town. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond, but we kick off the hour with a spotlight on a Black owned, BIPOC owned, local, or socially innovative business. In hour three, we do a deep dive with a hot topic or an important person, or many times it's a combination of both. Today, we're right on point with that. I'll be talking with someone I've known for many years and watched his work for many, many years. You probably know him from Spike Lee films, Roger Guenveur Smith. He's also very accomplished as a stage actor, director, and writer. So that will be an interesting and different conversation. Looking forward to that one. I want to remind you that we've got our big town hall meeting coming up, the Altadena town hall meeting next week, and you're going to want to register in advance at KBLA1580.com. Don't forget you can tap into the stream. We stream every single day around here at YouTube, youtube.com, YouTube app, and then you put in KBLA 1580 and you will find a whole conversation in the comments section and a whole delegation waiting to fellowship with you. So it's a great way to enjoy the show. Also, if you have the app, great. We thank you. If you don't have the app, please get it. It's free at the App Store and the Google Play Store. Will allow you to listen to KBLA, to me, to Tavis, to Zoe, to Jesse Jackson Jr., to D.L. Hughley, wherever you go. Even on another continent, I've tried it. I tested it out. It works. So hopefully, and we do appreciate that, because what it does is it gives us support in ways that we can quantify that helps keep us solvent, which is important for any Black-owned business. So starting off today, being joined in studio by two women who have a little something to say about the election that's coming up on Tuesday. Yes, it's on Tuesday. No, I haven't voted yet. Bad, Dominique. Bad. No. Early voting is now. So we have some inspiration and maybe some clarification coming up. We're being joined in studio by a couple of, I guess we'll say, experts on this particular area, but also on community well-being. LaKisha Camese is a public policy and social justice advocate. She's got a background in medical cannabis lobbying, regulatory compliance, post-conviction exonerations, voter protection, electioneering, and all aspects of business law. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hopefully I said your name right.
Oh, you did it perfect.
Okay. So if I don't, advanced apologies. We're also being joined by a strategic consultant and advocate who has dedicated her work to, she says, dismantling the oppressive systems that interfere with our community's abilities to live with dignity and thrive. She's committed to global realization of reproductive justice, building a future for future generations, has a JD from Northeastern University School of Law, a Master of Public Health from Tufts University School of Medicine. Oneyemma Obieka joins us. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you in. The organization, the Black Women for Wellness Action Project that both of you guys are involved with, sounds like it would have nothing to do with Prop 50. So why are we here? And by the way, in case you're not paying attention, delegates, Prop 50 is the only thing on the ballot. Yes. On Tuesday. Yeah. So what does that have to do with Black Women for Wellness Action Project?
Yes. So Black Women for Wellness Action Project, as you mentioned, is a reproductive justice organization. And reproductive justice just affirms our rights to have a child, to not have a child. And in the event that we do decide to have families, that we raise them with dignity, that we're able to raise them with dignity in safe and sustainable environments. It also is the right to bodily autonomy. In order to realize reproductive justice, which is a human rights-based framework that affirms our community's dignity, we need a functioning democracy. We need a representative government that allows us to fights for the best interest of our communities. The laws that are passed in Congress, the One Big Beautiful so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, we'll call it HR 1, has grave implications for our community's ability to live with dignity, right? The cuts to Medicaid that impact our access to health care, the cuts to funding for Planned Parenthoods and other organizations or hospitals that provide critically important care to serve our communities have implications for our ability to live. The historic cuts to SNAP benefits and supplemental food and nutrition assistance have implications for our community's ability to live healthy, dignified lives. And so who represents us impacts whether or not we're able to realize reproductive justice, whether we're able to realize this right to have children, to not have children, to raise our families in communities that are safe and with dignity. And so it all makes sense. And we need a functioning democracy to do that. Voting yes on Prop 50 gives us the opportunity to fight for the representation in Congress to, again, thrive and be safe.
You know, it's funny, though. You talk about the big, beautiful, ugly, terrible, very bad bill. But that train has already left the station, hasn't it? I mean, Democrats kind of just just kind of punked out and left us here with this terrible bill. And isn't like this redistricting effort too little, too late?
I actually think, it's never too late. This redistricting bill is our opportunity to stand up and fight back against the unchecked power that the Trump administration and right-wing MAGA Republicans are enjoying and, wielding with impunity in our country, right? The fact of the matter is Republicans hold a slim but majority in Congress, right? They have the presidency and and we know the Supreme Court is really on their side. And so this trifecta gives them unchecked power. And what we saw with the Big Beautiful Bill was Trump was able to strong arm Republican representatives to vote against their community's interests, right? And so what Prop 50 allows us to do is increase the number of Democratic representatives in Congress so that we can then fight back against this majority and we can all hope wield power in service of democratic policies that we know are supportive of our community's ability to thrive.
LaKisha Camese, do you want to add on to that? I mean, as far as the connection between, the work that you do and Prop 50, which is what we're voting on today, hopefully.
Basically, and I keep telling people, we are not an island unto ourselves. We are not one issue people. We are not just that single thing that's going on. Everything intersects. And reproductive justice intersects so much of our lives. Oneyemma spoke brilliantly about living with dignity. That's part of the tenets of, RJ, bodily autonomy. I mean, you want to have your rights, your freedoms. And if no one can look at, I keep telling folks ever since like maybe February, I was jumping on Zoom calls and I said, well, we're about 10 years, 7 months into this administration, because every day something's coming at us, and every day we're seeing where our rights are being rolled back. We're seeing where they're taking our health care, right? They're hurting our immigrant communities and everything with that. And you're thinking, oh, some folks are still thinking that's a Latino issue. No, we have a lot of African immigrants here in California. Yes, in one prime example right next to me. And so you're seeing how they're just taking back everything and rolling back the clock. Yes, they have all three levers of power right now, and the midterms are important. I tell people, I say, yes, we always keep saying every election is important, but literally this election has our freedom, our democracy, our our dignity on the line, because if we don't do something to stand up right now to say, hey, okay, that's enough. You've had your little field day, you've run around, you run amok, you've put people in places that clearly are unqualified to do the job that's at hand. Now we've got to start rolling that back. We know, which is sad, both of us being attorneys here, that the Supreme Court is not upholding the law the way that they should. They are rolling back precedent, and they are just bending the knee and kissing the ring to a wannabe dictator. So we have to do something. And one of the main things that I tell people is your vote is your voice. You determine who represents you, who speaks for you in those spaces where you are not at that moment. So we have to fight back. We have to talk to these people. We have to go out there. We have to get them to vote yes on Prop 50. And we also have to say, hey, this is for you. You know, we look at government as if this overarching, not reaching you. Well, you know what? We're going to start feeling those effects of that HR 1 real soon. And they timed it brilliantly to happen after the 2026 midterms. Midterms are important. Every election is important, but this election especially is our way to say, okay, that's enough. Now we're taking this power from you because clearly you don't know how to act in that position.
But LaKisha Camese, I mean, I all valid points, but I feel like that goes in one ear and out the other. I've been hearing your vote is your voice since I was 2.
Right.
And people are not showing up. I mean, the early voting numbers are terrible. Terrible. It's like we don't even care. And we're having this conversation. Hopefully some of these folks that have been showing up in the YouTube comments and with the no on 50 will call today at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. So we'll address these points when we continue this conversation. Some folks don't care if you're a black immigrant. They only care about black Americans. Some people don't care if your vote is your voice. I'm getting this feedback, which I don't quite understand, was people feeling that Prop 50 opens the door to the disempowerment of black voters. And so we'll address those concerns when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
On Thursday evening, November 6th, you're invited to the next KBLA Talk 1580 Altadena Town Hall meeting. This time, we're convening at Victory Bible Church, 1497 North Hill Avenue in Pasadena. The town hall will once again be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580 from 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, November 6th. But you're invited to join us in person for this urgent and necessary community conversation. The theme for this Altadena Eaton Canyon Fire Town Hall is Understanding the Wildfire Recovery Compensation Fund. The primary focus of this gathering is to inform residents about Southern California Edison's newly launched Wildfire Recovery Compensation Program and provide clarity on eligibility and the claims process. There are plenty of questions to be asked, and only KBLA Talk 1580 has the right moderators to ask the tough questions, the right stakeholders and community activists to share their insights, and we have confirmed the participation of corporate executives from Southern California Edison to answer our queries. So be sure to join us at Victory Bible Church in Pasadena, 1497 North Hill Avenue on Thursday, November 6th. The event is free and open to the public, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Light refreshments will be served immediately following the live town hall. This KBLA Talk 1580 Altadena Rising Town Hall is brought to you by the Black Freedom Fund.
California, this is your moment. The special election is November 4th, and your vote helps decide your future, your community, and your state. Drop your ballot at a secure drop box. Visit an early vote center or mail it. Your participation powers democracy. Every ballot makes a difference. Tell a friend to do the same. Sign up at where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov to track your ballot. Make your voice count. Don't delay. Vote today. A message from the California Secretary of State.
Is reviewing life insurance insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, indeed, as usual, the conversation going strong in the comments section at YouTube, KBLA 1580. LaKisha Camese, you say it. Camese. And Oneyemma Obieka are here, and we are talking about Prop 50. I raised a few things. First of all, the in one ear, out the other factor. Your vote is your voice. Your ancestors died for this. Vote. What was it? Diddy said, vote or die, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think it works.
And you're right. There is a lot of apathy. Apathy. People are just like, I'm tired of voting. I feel like nothing is changing. I feel like nothing's going on. Well, if you didn't get a clue this last election in November, seeing what has happened since January 20th, you have to ask yourself, are you okay with where the country is going right now? Right now, where you're seeing that they're taking away health care. They're taking away your Medi-Cal, your Medicaid, your Medicare. They're taking away all of these rights. They have been attacking our reproductive rights left and right. Everything's gone up. We're not technically in a recession because I think it's 2 or 3 quarters where you're seeing where those numbers are, dropping. But we are feeling the brunt of it. Everything's more expensive. The way that they are running around giving tax cuts to billionaires while the rest of us are suffering just for basic health care and rights, if you're okay with that, that's your right. You have your right to say, you know what, since January 20th, things are going great. Things are going swimmingly well on my end. And that's your choice. However, for the most folks, for my folks, for people I see in the community, it is not okay. There are people who are hitting up food banks in advance. There are people who are seeing, if you're not aware, we're in the middle of a government shutdown. That is not because of Democrats. That is because Democrats said, I am not just going to sign off on whatever spending bill you want. That I'm not going to just
acquiesce to them. I wish they would have said that before we passed the big bill.
You're right. They are behind the times and standing up and fighting, because we saw a lot of performative things where we're like, oh, gosh, no, don't do that.
Right.
There's little signs in Congress, don't do that.
The strongly worded letters, the long speeches leading to nowhere.
Everything. And I'm saying, this is it. We have to stand up and fight. Those folks that are in Congress, they work for you. You got them there. You hired them. You can fire them. And this is how you do it, by getting out there and voting yes on 50.
Okay, so the other concern, I brought up several. The other concern is that what I've been hearing in the chat is that Prop 50 is going to end up disenfranchising black voters. That, one young woman brought up, what if Republicans get the majority in California when pigs fly? I mean, it could happen. You never know. We have a bipolar state with lots of red. What if they get control? And then even within this current mapping system, she's worried that we'll see black districts splintered.
Yes, so thank you. And I really appreciate those concerns. And I think what's beautiful about Prop 50 and the maps that have been proposed for voters to vote on is the process that went into it, right? The process for drawing the maps. While it didn't go through the traditional independent redistricting process that incorporates comments from communities, it really utilized comments, responses, submissions from communities in considering the maps. Right. And I think what's important to know is that communities of interest, the voices of Black folks, Black majority, Black BIPOC, we'll say BIPOC, Black and Indigenous people of color communities, and community of interest and communities of influence were kept together. Right. And so their votes weren't splintered, their voices weren't splintered in this process of drawing the maps. And they did a very good job of ensuring that our voices and our votes weren't diluted in the creation of these new maps. I'll say that, so kept the communities together, kept the influence communities together. We also contemplated the comments, concerns, and submissions from the past Independent Redistricting Commission process. And you'll see that commission members have come out in their individual capacities to commend the work that was done to draw these maps. And so I think that's an important piece to note. I think it's important to also note that these maps are temporary. Right. And so what Prop 50 does in the language is say, okay, we're only going to use these maps until the next redistricting process,
which is 2030.
Takes place, 2030.
Right. After the census.
Yeah.
After the census.
So Michael's in the chat trying to break this down. He says the big change is partisan tilt, not splintering Black hubs. Right. It does not alter city council, city school board, county supervisor districts in Baldwin Hills, Inglewood, Lamert, Africatown. Black influence districts in SoCal remain. The debate is about partisan advantage versus process, not erasing Black Los Angeles.
Right. And I think that's exactly right and beautifully stated. And it's important to note that Yes on 50 speaks to congressional maps only. Right. And so it does not impact state maps, Board of Equalization maps, or any other local maps in California. So I think that, just to add on to the beautiful comment, beautifully articulated comment in the chat, this only has to do with our federal representation in Congress.
Right. And to just reiterate, Black Women for Wellness Action Project, we sat down, we were in those coalition spaces with so many of our community partners, and we've debated on this. We've been at the forefront of this from the beginning where this was proposed. And so we got those tough questions up front. We talked to our community members, we engaged them, we said, what are your concerns? What are you hearing? So that we can take this back. And again, like how Oneyemma said, even those past redistricting folks were saying, hey, this is the most fair maps. We had a program, and one of the past commissioners on that whole commission said, hey, I've seen this. They've taken the most care and precision in this. They talked to our Hispanic caucus, our Black caucus. And as you can see, if you've looked at those maps, those 3 congressional districts represented by Black women, no less. Latifah Simon, Sidney Kamlager-Dove, and Maxine Waters were left completely intact as an assurance, because we're like, if we're putting our support behind you, we need to know that you're centering Black voices and community and making sure that you are acting in our best interest, because we're not going to act against our community's interests in any form, shape, fashion, or what have you. So seeing that kind of that grace that they've extended, that consideration, and seeing that they were like, okay, we hear you, we know we're not going anywhere without the Black vote. Getting that kind of assurance is why we were able to throw our support behind Prop 50.
Yeah, we're about to go into news, traffic, and sports right here, but we'll keep it going on the other side. If you have a question, 800-920-1580. Let's engage, 800-920-1580. I think the big project between now and Tuesday, which is just a few days, is to get the vote out or get the vote in. You have the doggone thing. I have the doggone thing on my kitchen table. So we got to fill it out and either bring it to a county drop box, put it in the mail, bring it to an early voting place. That's the real challenge right now. But we're going to keep the clarity going when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries visited Chicago, urging Illinois lawmakers to redraw congressional maps and add a Democratic seat.
Donald Trump and Republicans have decided that they were going to try to gerrymander congressional maps as part of their effort to rig the midterm elections.
He says it's a needed response to Trump-backed redistricting in GOP-led states. The National Park Service has reinstated a statue of Confederate General Albert Pike in D.C.'s Judiciary Square. The statue was toppled and burned in 2020 protests and restored under a Trump executive order to beautify the Capitol. And crews in Tulsa, Oklahoma have discovered 42 previously unknown graves in the 1921 race massacre investigation. Forensic experts updating the investigation found a bullet in one set of remains, marking the 7th such discovery. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
If the Dodgers repeat as World Series champions, they will have to do it in Toronto. The Dodgers' 6-2 loss Tuesday night in Game 4 ensures a Game 6 in Toronto on Friday night. The best-of-7 series is now tied at 2 apiece. For one of the few times in this postseason, Dodger star Shohei Ohtani did not have a dominant performance. He gave up 4 runs and 6 hits in 7 innings of work, and he was 0 for 3 at the plate and struck out twice. A very important Game 5 is at Dodger Stadium tonight. First pitch at 5 o'clock. The final attendance numbers are in from Saturday's Magic City Classic in Birmingham, Alabama. The popular HBCU football game featuring Alabama State versus Alabama A&M drew a crowd of 69,372 at Birmingham's famous Legion Field. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support Black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Our communities have been through too much to let our voices be erased now. Prop 50 is how we push back against the rigged maps, the rising costs, and the attacks on our health care and our rights. I'm Senator Lola Smallwood-Cuevas. Join me in voting yes on Prop 50 because we deserve to choose who speaks for us. Ad paid for by California for all of us supporting Prop 50. McKenna Ballot Measure Committee. Ad Committee's top funder. Faith votes yes on 50. Sponsored by LA Voice Action and Progressive Era Issues Committee supporting yes on 50.
September is World Alzheimer's Month, a time to shine a light on a public health crisis that hits Black families hardest. 1 in 5 Black adults ages 70 and older is living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD, and it's not a normal part of aging. Early signs like repeating questions, missed appointments, even trouble handling bills might seem small, but they matter. The good news? There are treatment options available that may slow AD when diagnosed early. Don't wait. Visit treatalsearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com to learn more. This message is brought to you by AZI.
If you missed the recent Left Coast Forum, then you really missed out. An insightful presentation from Professor Richard Wolff, a call to action from LA Mayor Karen Bass, an insider's view on Prop 50 and the government shutdown from Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager-Dove, and as usual, Dr. Cornel West brought down the House with a powerful closing keynote. And many of the plenary sessions were standing room only. Check out our social media posts for photos and video of what you missed at the Left Coast Forum, and make plans to attend one of our upcoming events. Our next Altadena Town Hall is Thursday, November 6th, 4 to 6 p.m. at Victory Bible Church in Pasadena. We're going to interrogate SoCal Edison's settlement fund and see what's really going on with this fire recovery program. And our KBLA Talk 1580 Community Health and Wellness Fair is Saturday, November the 8th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here in Lemert Park at Catch at Audubon Middle School. All the details about these upcoming events can be found at our website, KBLA1580.com. So thanks again to all those who supported the Left Coast Forum, and a special thanks to our partners this year: the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, Partnership for Growth, UTLA, LA Care Health Plan, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and the Liberty Hill Foundation.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, and today you are waking up with some folks who can give you some clarity on what we are voting on Tuesday or today, because those ballots are already there. You can vote anytime. In fact, it's probably a good idea not to wait. Who knows what can happen between now and Tuesday. You know, the president could outlaw voting. We don't know. He's trying to say you can't do early ballots, even though he doesn't even have any authority to do that. LaKisha Camese is here. Oneyemma Obieka is here. They are with Black Women for Wellness Action Project. And just to be clear, for folks who may be confused, that Black Women for Wellness Action Project is a 501c4,
right,
which means you can do politics.
Yes, we can do all those partisan views. We can do all that lobbying. We do a lot, and we've been doing a lot in the community. We endorse candidates. And we also move legislation, especially, for health and well-being of Black women and girls. We were so happy to get 2 bills signed by the governor this year. AB 260, which is like a shield law for those doctors who are providing medication abortion, to take their names off that label, protect them as well. We see where a lot of states that have banned abortion, now they're going after those doctors who are doing that telehealth and giving out that medication abortion. And medication abortion is 2/3 of the amount of abortion that goes out. Only 1/3 is surgical. So protecting, women's rights and freedoms to make those choices in their lives, and also especially AB 55. And just to say thank you again to Assemblymember Bonta for really pushing forward that bill. And that is our alternative birth centers. We have a maternity ward desert here in California. Like 12 counties do not have access to a labor and delivery ward within their geographical region. So that means longer travel times. That means, they don't have access to their doctor, their OBGYN. So just setting up those alternative birth centers, streamlining that process so that they can have access. Also with those alternative birth centers, you get more of those access to doulas and midwives, that more holistic birth journey to take care of our folks. So doing all the things on all the areas, just fighting for our communities and making sure that they have, just policies that help them thrive in life.
And that's a sister organization for Black Women for Wellness, which
Yes.
is a 501c3 that doesn't do the politics, just so you guys are not confused. But if you want to find out more about these sisters, it's bwwactionproject.org, bwwactionproject.org.
And may I add to that, because I think part of the decision that that birthed Black Women for Wellness Action Project was a recognition that advocacy consists of a broad range of activities, right? But there are certain limitations to the tools in the toolbox that the 501c3 could engage in. So in order to build our power, we established the Black Women for Wellness Action Project so that we could leverage broader tools in our advocacy toolbox. And I think that's, and also we can think about voting in that way, right? Voting is not the be all and end all for advocating for
It's
our
the
rights.
floor.
But
It's
it
the
is,
floor.
but it is one of the tools.
Yes, it is one of the tools, and
it's
we've
one
got
of
to
the-
use all
of our tools. And
Right.
in this moment, in this very urgent moment, right, sitting on our hands is not an option.
Right,
We
because if you
must.
choose neutrality, you choose to sit home. You're choosing to help your oppressor win.
You're
in
handing
this
over
fight.
your power.
Right,
You're
that's
saying,
handing
"Take
over
it."
your power. That's not diluting Black power. Not saying yes on 50. Diluting your power is not going at all, or saying
using
no. Right. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Jacqueline Anderson says, "Good morning, KBLA family. Voted already? Yes on 50.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Kwamel, I can't see his comment anymore because it scrolled up, but he made a great comment about how we're basically being this divides Black people, or just this erases Black people button is automatically being pressed to manipulate our response to this, even though it kind of doesn't really have anything to do with this bill." So I think that what we're talking about here is that a lot of folks really don't get what this is. So let's get real basic. I mean, some of the comments I've seen, not today, folks in there today seem to get it. But one of the things I've seen is people saying things to me about Prop 50 that indicate that they have no idea what it's actually about. So, LaKisha, want to break it down? Like, talk to me like I'm 8.
Right. So one of the things we do with the Action Project as well, we've started instituting like those Policy 101 and Government 101 trainings. But the main thing is that we want our if you get to that poll and you're not fully informed about what's going on with this, then I feel like we failed you. So we're going to break it down here. So this is called Prop 50, the Election Rigging Response Act. And all it does, and I'm going to level set, give you just a little lay of the land. Every 10 years, we have a census. We had one in 2020. We'll have another one in 2030. Depending on those numbers, that's how they draw the districts in the maps for each state, right? And so drawing those districts, that determines who represents you, what kind of resources come to your community, things of the like. So with that, it happens every 10 years. What's different about Prop 50 is that, yes, we're in 2025. This is mid 20 years. That's in that 5-year part. So, of course, something extraordinary had to happen. We realized that the rules that we've been playing by, not everyone's playing by them. So we said, we've got to get a little creative here. Not crazy, right? It's still legal. It's still constitutional, what we're doing with Prop 50. And the way this was considered is that we didn't go like Texas did in some back room, draw some map that looks like strips of bacon, and just completely carve people out of their districts and just say, this is what we're going to do. This is something where we've involved the Independent Redistricting Commission, those different caucuses as well, and that we took the most consideration for all of those marginalized communities and redrew these maps along partisan lines, but keeping together, like Oneyemma said, those BIPOC communities and their voting power, and making sure that we just draw this map to get 5 additional congressional seats. That's what it's going to add, 5 additional seats. There are currently 9 Republican seats in California, if I'm making sure. Yeah. So we're just getting the 5 that Texas tried to steal from their voters, from, just completely suppress their vote. And this is temporary. This is just temporary. This is not going to go into perpetuity. And of course, if you look at it, they are doing the things the right way. They got the governor involved. That's one branch in California. They've got the legislature involved. They had the independent redistricting folks together, and now they're bringing it to the voters. That's that balance of power. That's saying, hey, this is what we come up with, but at the end of the day, this is you telling us if this is okay with you, so that we can fight back against what's happening.
Okay. I don't know that the 8-year-old knows about redistricting, but if you had to explain this in 1 or 2 sentences.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
One or two sentences.
Yeah, give me the really short version. I'll give you 3 max.
Okay, 3 max.
Okay.
So we have 435 members of Congress in the U.S. House of Representatives. And every year after the census, we count the numbers, the population of every state, to determine how many members out of that 435 each state gets. California, based on last year's redistricting efforts, based on our population, got 52 seats of those 435. 43 Democrats and the rest of them Republicans.
Right.
So what this Prop 50 is looking to do is increase that number, the proportion of Democrats that California sends to Congress in 2026 and beyond, well, not beyond, 2026 through 2030, from 43 to 48, which increases Democratic representation for Californians in Congress. That might have been 4 or 5 sentences, but I don't know if that was helpful.
That was a lot simpler, though. That was a lot simpler.
Okay, good.
Okay, we'll hold that thought because we're gonna. Yeah, that was a lot simpler. We're narrowing it down. I know it sounds, it sounds silly, but I really, really am getting the impression that people don't get it. Okay, and so because. Oh, I don't see how else. Well, I do see, because me and Ed have been back and forth about this. He was standing on principle. He was standing on not wanting to go into a downward spiral. When they go low, we go high energy. We can address that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Donald Trump has all but declared war on California, sending in the National Guard, blocking disaster relief, and cutting funds to our colleges. And now, he and Texas Republicans are trying to rig the next election by stealing congressional seats from black voters in states like Texas.
They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides.
Seriously, look it up. But Prop 50 is how we fight back. It gives Californians the power to fight fire with fire and beat Trump at his own game. Prop 50 creates temporary emergency congressional maps that level the playing field and protect the power of black votes. Not just in California, but across the country. Your vote matters, and the whole country is counting on California to lead. So use your vote to protect our power, our history, and our future. Vote yes on Prop 50 by November 4th. Ad paid for by Yes on 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, Governor Newsom's Ballot Measure Committee, Ad Committee's top funders, HMP for Prop 50, and Fund for Policy Reform.
Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money, or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
California, this is your moment. The special election is November 4th, and your vote helps decide your future, your community, and your state. Drop your ballot at a secure drop box. Visit an early vote center or mail it. Your participation powers democracy. Every ballot makes a difference. Tell a friend to do the same. Sign up at where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov to track your ballot. Make your voice count. Don't delay. Vote today. A message from the California Secretary of State.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, the Black Women for Wellness Action Project is in action this morning on KBLA Talk 1580 around Proposition 50, which is the only thing. I mean, Lord, we usually have to sort through 5,000 different ballot measures plus different candidates. This time you got one thing on your ballot. And so LaKisha Camese and Oneyemma Obieka are here, and they want you to get it together. Okay, we said that we've got to vote by Tuesday, but if you're actually going to use a regular mailbox, we need to do what?
Plan to mail your ballot by the 2nd to ensure that your ballot is postmarked by the 4th.
That's Sunday.
That's Sunday.
Or
put it in Saturday.
Put it
Sunday.
in Saturday. Put it in Sunday. Just want to give yourself enough time to ensure that by the 4th, your ballot is postmarked.
Has to be postmarked, or you could just put it in a county drop box.
Yes.
Right.
Which are the UCLA colors, the ones that you see around. There's one right in Lamar.
Yes, or go to your vote center.
I like to go to the voting center.
The
That's
voting
what
center
I like
is
to
always,
do.
and
they're
you have
open
that till 8 p.m. on election days.
Yes, it's open.
They're
wide
open now, right?
Yes, they're open right now. They opened on the 25th. Go ahead, go in there and get it done.
I like that because I see it going into the box, and old-fashioned, paranoid. Ballots and brunch. What is this?
Oh, that is one of our action project events. That's our last event that is Yes on Prop 50. That is going to be at the Culver City Hotel this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And again, we are here to not only advocate, but educate, and we do legislate as well. So
and enjoy.
We got to have the black joy.
Yes.
Yeah, you get to come out, look beautiful, look fly. Fellas, come on out too, and learn more. If you have those questions, we've seen you in the chat. We know what you're up to. You're asking plenty of questions. This is where you can get answers. We also have another event where you can get answers as well tonight, a virtual webinar, and Oneyemma is going to be on there as well. We are answering all your questions. We are here. We want you to go to that, mark that ballot proudly and be informed. So we have a Zoom link for that. We will send that over to y'all here to make sure that you can RSVP. It's tonight from 6 p.m.?
From 7.
7
to 8:30, so after work.
All this stuff is at bwwactionproject.org, the info about the ballots and brunch, where you can grab ballots, it says, and join them for a fabulous brunch and discuss Prop 50. The Zoom tonight, all that we can get from the website?
We can get that.
And from our IG.
Our
Go
social
to,
media.
for BWW Action Project, for our IG. It's posted. It's been on our stories. It's been, in our reels. Please, the link is in there. Go ahead and RSVP. Find out more. Ask more questions. We want you to know.
I'd also like to plug on the website, you will find our downloadable voter guide.
Yes.
And so if you just want to sit with some information on how to vote, what your vote means in terms of Prop 50, as well as some frequently asked questions, we have some answers and responses for you. So again, that's bwwactionproject.org. You can download the voter guide if you, for some reason, don't feel like coming out and brunching with us on a nice little Saturday afternoon or joining us on the webinar. You can also take a peek at that voter guide as well.
So all aspects, we want you to be informed and engaged.
We were, before News, Traffic, and Sports, we were on, explaining to me like I'm 8. You guys were doing a good job. It's really about the lines that are drawn that decide who is in what section represented by what congressperson.
Exactly.
And you made the point that people are just not believing that this will go away after 2030. How do we know it will go away after 2030?
Simple. The language affirmatively restores or gives back the role of redrawing these maps to the Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission. It says that outright in the language of the proposition. It also then amplifies or declares California's urging of the rest of the country to follow a similar process,
which is already having impact. I mean, you see Virginia stepping out. They're trying to do something similar to what we're doing, which means we're already having positive impact, even if this doesn't pass. But I think this fear, and I addressed it before News, Traffic, and Sports, the fear is always like an automatic, almost like Carmel said, a button. Erasing black people is the secret agenda of Prop 50 or the secret agenda of this, that, and the third. How do we know that's not the case, LaKisha?
Again, we kept together those BIPOC communities, those marginalized communities. We made sure that
people don't care about BIPOC and marginalized. They care about black.
Right. Absolutely.
So talk to me about how we know this doesn't erase black folks.
It does not erase black votes because it is giving you that choice, first of all, to go there and vote. Yes. Second of all, those 3 districts, those congressional districts where we have those black women, and we look at that because on the federal level, over 300 black women have lost their jobs. And we were saying, no, not today, not here. We're not going to let you redraw maps and take a job from another black woman who are doing great work, bringing money back to their congressional districts, fighting tooth and nail to make sure that they have the resources that they need. So in doing this and seeing how they kept those districts intact, knows that, hey, they know that black vote means something.
I mean, look, I'm not saying we shouldn't care about BIPOC people, by the way.
No.
I think we should care about all people.
We're
but
all
I just
Issa
know,
Rae.
I know where our community is at right now.
Right.
Everybody black.
Yeah,
a lot of times
we're all Issa Rae
people
here.
don't want to hear multicultural. They don't even want to hear DEI. We want to hear what's happening with black folks.
Right.
Black women are the one losing jobs. Black women people are the ones homeless in this city.
Yes.
Right.
So that's where the concern comes. I don't think it comes from, well, and not in my case, it doesn't come from a lack of love for others. It's just about prioritizing us.
Of course.
And I think, the Texas example is a great one because Jasmine Crockett was drawn right out of her seat. And if you look at the Republican redistricting, they're the ones that started this fight.
Right.
They started it with the goal of erasing black districts.
Absolutely.
So this is a remedy to that.
And as a side note, I actually had the honor of working on Jasmine Crockett's first campaign when I lived in Texas. So it was amazing. And to see how much money and resources she has brought back to her district in so many areas. I mean, we can run the receipts and see what these women are doing in Congress, these black women. And we need to keep them there. We need to hold fast on that power. And we need to ensure that, that's how we don't erase those black voices and black votes, because those folks are the ones who are looking out for us, again, rooting for everyone black and bringing those resources that we need to our communities.
What do you say to folks, and this has got to be short because we're almost out of time, who don't trust Democrats to deliver for black people? It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
It is.
It's valid because we've been burned.
We have.
Budgets have been balanced on the back of Black folks, right? Access to resources have been stripped from Black folks. We know just historically and systemically, policies have been passed and, at the expense of Black folks without contemplating us. Yet and still, over and over again, we make up the backbone of Democrats. We ensure that Democrats get into office. So I think it's completely valid. But currently, in this moment, as it stands, the alternative cannot be Republicans, because what we are seeing, what they are demonstrating to us is their attempt to, it's a very cruel playbook that they're implementing to roll back our rights and take us
Project
back
2025 is real.
Is a very real thing.
Yeah.
Very
And
real.
we're watching as a Republican-led trifecta is just wielding their power in a way that rolls back our rights, rolls back our resources, and stands to just devastate our community. So that can't be the alternative, because, it means devastation for our community. So we need people we can hold accountable. And Democrats are more likely than not who we can in this moment.
We can't sit on the sidelines, not for this election at all.
Well, LaKisha Camese and Oneyemma Obieka, thank you so much for being here. BWWActionProject.org. Appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you very much for having us and making the time.
Wealth Building Wednesday is next after news, traffic, and sports right here.
1980 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries visited Chicago, urging Illinois lawmakers to redraw congressional maps and add a Democratic seat.
Donald Trump and Republicans have decided that they were going to try to gerrymander congressional maps as part of their effort to rig the midterm elections.
He says it's a needed response to Trump-backed redistricting in GOP-led states. The National Park Service has reinstated a statue of Confederate General Albert Pike in D.C.'s Judiciary Square. The statue was toppled and burned in 2020 protests and restored under a Trump executive order to beautify the Capitol. And crews in Tulsa, Oklahoma have discovered 42 previously unknown graves in the 1921 race massacre investigation. Forensic experts updating the investigation found a bullet in one set of remains, marking the 7th such discovery. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
If the Dodgers repeat as World Series champions, they will have to do it in Toronto. The Dodgers' 6-2 loss Tuesday night in Game 4 ensures a Game 6 in Toronto on Friday night. The best-of-7 series is now tied at 2 apiece. For one of the few times in this postseason, Dodger star Shohei Ohtani did not have a dominant performance. He gave up 4 runs and 6 hits in 7 innings of work, and he was 0 for 3 at the plate and struck out twice. A very important Game 5 is at Dodger Stadium tonight. First pitch at 5 o'clock. The final attendance numbers are in from Saturday's Magic City Classic in Birmingham, Alabama. The popular HBCU football game featuring Alabama State versus Alabama A&M drew a crowd of 69,372 at Birmingham's famous Legion Field. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
You ready? You're invited to the KBLA Talk 1580 Community Health and Wellness Fair on Saturday, November 8th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Catch at Audubon Middle School in Leimert Park, 4120 11th Avenue. Join us for a day of health, healing, and community connection. There will be health screenings, immunizations, wellness information, a Catch Charter School recruitment fair, plus music and healthy snacks. And it's all free at the KBLA Talk 1580 Community Health and Wellness Fair, Saturday, November 8th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Audubon Middle School in Leimert Park.